What if the scariest thing at night wasn't a nightmare, but your own brain turning against you? Every year, millions of people struggle with sleep disorders they can't explain. Moments where the body, mind, and reality itself stop playing by the rules. Some of these disorders are exhausting, some are bizarre, and a few are downright terrifying. Today, we're breaking them all down. From the familiar insomnia to the rare sleeping beauty syndrome, this is every major sleep disorder explained in one video. And make sure you stay till the end, because the rarest disorder on this list is something doctors are still struggling to explain. Insomnia. Imagine lying in bed, tired, your eyes are heavy, but no matter how long you wait, sleep just refuses to come. That's the daily reality of insomnia. It's not just about struggling to fall asleep. It can also mean waking up too early or constantly tossing and turning through the night. The result? Days that feel like you're walking through fog, with zero energy and a brain that won't focus. So why does insomnia happen? Sometimes it's stress or anxiety. Sometimes it's lifestyle choices, like too much caffeine, scrolling, your phone in bed, or irregular schedules. For some, it's linked to deeper medical issues like depression or thyroid problems. The frustrating part is that the cause can be different for everyone, which makes treatment a puzzle. One famous case? Writer Franz Kafka reportedly suffered from chronic insomnia. He would spend sleepless nights awake, writing feverishly, and described sleep as the most innocent creature there is, and sleeplessness the most guilty. His work was shaped by those long, restless nights. Here's the part most people overlook. Insomnia doesn't only rob you of rest. It raises your risk of heart disease, weakens your immune system, and can even alter your mood so severely that it mimics other psychiatric disorders. And if lying awake at night sounds unbearable, the next disorder shows what happens when you do fall asleep and your body suddenly stops breathing. Sleep apnea. Sleep apnea turns rest into a stop-start struggle for breath. Throughout the night, airflow gets cut off for seconds at a time. The sleeper may snore loudly, pause, then suddenly gasp as the body jolts itself awake. This cycle can repeat hundreds of times, leaving the person exhausted the next day without ever realizing why. There are two main patterns. In obstructive sleep apnea, the muscles of the throat relax too much and collapse inward. In central sleep apnea, the brain fails to send steady signals to keep breathing consistent. Both rob the body of oxygen and shatter deep sleep. The long-term toll is serious. Interrupted breathing strains the heart, raises blood pressure, and increases stroke risk. Many also suffer from brain fog, irritability, and memory lapses. Problems often mistaken for something else until a sleep study gives answers. Shaquille O'Neal once revealed his own diagnosis, proving that even a world-class athlete isn't safe from it. His story helped make treatment less of a taboo. Strange as it sounds, not everyone with apnea fits the stereotype. Some are young, slim, and fit, yet still stop breathing at night. That hidden side makes it one of the most overlooked sleep disorders on the planet. The next one couldn't be more different. Instead of losing air while you sleep, it drags you into sleep without warning, even in the middle of the day. Narcolepsy. Narcolepsy turns the boundary between waking and sleeping into quicksand. A person can be in the middle of laughing with friends, eating lunch, or even driving, when their body suddenly pulls them into sleep. These episodes are unpredictable and overwhelming, leaving people terrified of when the next one might strike. Then there's cataplexy, its strangest feature. Strong emotions like laughter or anger cause the muscles to give out. Imagine cracking up at a joke and then crumbling to the floor, fully conscious but unable to move. Historians believe Harriet Tubman lived with narcolepsy, falling into sudden sleep spells, even while guiding people to freedom. Her story shows just how unpredictable and relentless this disorder can be. Doctors know it's tied to the brain's sleep-wake switch, but the real mystery is why it strikes so suddenly. The fear isn't only falling asleep, it's never knowing when the next attack will hit. But at least narcolepsy drops you where you stand. The next disorder is even creepier. It makes people get up, roam their houses, even drive cars, all while still trapped in deep sleep. Sleepwalking, somnambulism. Sleepwalking is one of those disorders that feels straight out of a horror film. People rise from bed in the middle of the night, eyes half open, shuffling through their homes as if possessed. They've been found cooking, rearranging furniture, even stepping out the front door, all while their brain is still locked in deep sleep. To the sleeper, it's a blackout. They wake up with no memory of their midnight adventure. No idea why things are out of place. Doctors pin it on a misfire in deep non-REM sleep, where the brain wakes the body but not the mind. But the eerie part isn't the science. It's how ordinary it looks. Someone can appear wide awake while being completely absent inside. One infamous case involved a woman in the UK who got behind the wheel and drove 14 miles while still asleep. She didn't wake until the police pulled her over. It makes you wonder, if sleepwalking looks this unsettling, what happens when the dream itself controls the body, turning harmless sleep into violent action? REM sleep behavior disorder, RBD. Dreams are supposed to be safe. Normally the body shuts down during REM sleep, so you can't act them out. But in REM sleep behavior disorder, that safety switch breaks. Suddenly people don't just dream of running, fighting, or shouting. They do it for real. Partners are often the first to notice. A sleeper might thrash, swing their arms, or even leap out of bed in the middle of the night, convinced they're battling dream enemies. In the morning, they may wake to bruises, broken furniture, or an angry partner who took the hit. The cause lies in the brainstem's failure to paralyze the body during REM. But what unsettles doctors most is the link. RBD can sometimes appear years before Parkinson's or other neurological diseases, almost like a warning sign hidden in sleep. One man dreamed of being attacked by an intruder and woke to find he had punched a hole through his bedroom wall. Cases like this show how violent dreams can become when the body is free to follow along. And if acting out dreams feels disturbing, the next disorder is pure terror. You wake up fully aware, but find yourself completely paralyzed, unable to move, breathe normally, or escape the visions crawling in the dark. Sleep paralysis. You open your eyes in the middle of the night, the room is familiar, the shadows the same, but your body refuses to move. Every attempt to scream, breathe deeper, or lift a finger fails. Then the real horror sets in. Many people feel a crushing weight on their chest, hear footsteps, or see a figure in the corner of the room watching. The cause is simple. Your brain wakes before your body does. During REM sleep, the body is paralyzed to keep you from acting out dreams. If awareness returns too soon, you're trapped in between. The hallucinations are dream images bleeding into waking reality. Cultures across the world have names for it. In Japan, it's kanashibari, the spirit binding you down. In Newfoundland, it's the old hag, a witch pressing on the chest. Different stories, same fear. For some, it's a one-time scare. For others, it repeats for years, turning bedtime into something to dread. But as frightening as being pinned down feels, the next disorder might sound even stranger. Your brain creates the sound of explosions as you drift into sleep. Exploding head syndrome. The name sounds like science fiction, but it describes a very real sleep disorder. People with exploding head syndrome suddenly hear a deafening bang, crash, or gunshot as they're drifting off or waking up. There's no actual sound. It's all generated by the brain, but it can feel so real that some jump out of bed convinced something has exploded nearby. Researchers believe it happens when the brain's auditory neurons misfire during the transition between wake and sleep. Instead of shutting down smoothly, the nervous system produces a burst of activity that the brain interprets as sound. It's harmless physically, but the shock is enough to jolt the heart racing and leave the person terrified to go back to sleep. A famous early description came from neurologist Silas Weir Mitchell in the 1800s. He reported patients who described loud gunshot-like noises in the head at night. More than a century later, doctors still see the same strange condition. The strangest part? You never know when it's coming. Weeks of silence, then one night your brain detonates with a bang no one else can hear. And the next disorder is even worse. Not just a noise, but full-blown panic storms that rip through the body in the middle of the night. Night terrors. Night terrors are far more brutal than nightmares. A person bolts upright in bed, screaming, sweating, thrashing as if they're fighting for their life. But they're not fully awake. Their eyes may be open, yet their mind is trapped somewhere between sleep and reality. Unlike nightmares, there's usually no memory afterward. Parents often describe children crying out, unrecognizable in their fear, then collapsing back into deep sleep with no clue what just happened. In adults, the episodes are rarer but often violent. Injuries from falling, running, or lashing out aren't uncommon. Doctors trace it to disruptions in deep non-REM sleep. when the brain suddenly fires up the body before consciousness can catch up. But knowing that doesn't make the sight any less terrifying. One case reported in a medical journal told of a man who leapt from a second-story window during a night terror. He survived, but woke with no memory of the event. The unnerving part is for those who witnessed it. The screaming, the panic, the raw fear on someone's face, unforgettable, even if the sleeper themselves never recalls a second. And as disturbing as that is, there's a disorder that takes it in the opposite direction. Instead of terror keeping you awake, it forces people to sleep for days or even weeks at a time. Klein-Levin syndrome, sleeping beauty syndrome. This disorder is so rare it almost sounds like a fairy tale, except living with it is anything but magical. Klein-Levin syndrome, known as sleeping beauty syndrome, forces people to sleep up to 20 hours a day for days or even weeks at a stretch. Life goes on pause while they wake only to eat or use the bathroom before drifting back under. To the person, it feels like vanishing from the world. Entire holidays, birthdays, even months of school can disappear in what feels like a blink. Doctors suspect the hypothalamus, the brain's sleep and appetite center, but no one knows why it happens or why episodes can vanish for years before suddenly returning. One widely reported case involved a British girl who slept through Christmas and New Year's, missing nearly 2 months of her life. When she woke, she had no clear memory of the lost time. What makes it chilling is the unpredictability. Families never know when the next episode will strike or how long it'll last. And if that sounds extreme, the final disorder shows how even people who sleep normally can find their body clock completely out of sync with the world around them. Circadian rhythm disorders. Imagine living in a world where your body insists midnight is morning. That's the reality of circadian rhythm disorders. Your sleep cycle drifts completely out of sync with everyone else's. For people with this condition, it feels like permanent jet lag. You're wide awake when the world is asleep and exhausted when everyone else is starting their day. It happens when the brain's internal clock, the part that normally keeps us on a 24-hour rhythm, falls out of step. Instead of adjusting, it locks you into a cycle that doesn't match real life. One famous case was delayed sleep phase syndrome, making headlines in teens who couldn't fall asleep before 3 a.m. and regularly missed entire mornings of school. Parents thought they were lazy until studies showed their body clocks were wired differently. The unsettling part is that it doesn't only shift sleep, it reshapes mood, energy, and focus, proving that when you sleep can be just as important as how much. And that's every major sleep disorder explained. Doctors are still uncovering the full story, and the mystery is what makes sleep so fascinating. If your nights have ever felt unusual, you're far from alone. Sleep is still one of medicine's biggest mysteries, and every disorder proves how powerful and fragile the brain can be. So now it's your turn. Which disorder shocked you the most? Drop it in the comments, and let's see which one keeps people talking. If you've learned something new, make sure to like this video and subscribe, because we've got even stranger topics coming your way. Sweet dreams, if you can.